In the bustling streets of London, a quiet strength emanated from a solitary figure clad in ceremonial uniform, his eyes fixed ahead, unwavering amidst the throngs of tourists. This was no ordinary man. He was a royal guard, embodying an enduring tradition of duty and dignity. His posture was rigid, shoulders squared, a testament to years spent in disciplined training. Yet, beneath the stoic exterior lay a depth of character that few could imagine. He was a sentinel not just of the Tower of London, but of the values that bind society together: patience, resilience, and an unyielding commitment to peace. As he stood sentinel, the world around him bustled with laughter, chatter, and the occasional burst of excitement from nearby attractions. Yet, there was something serene about his presence, a stark juxtaposition to the vibrant life that swirled around him. In a society often marred by conflict and division, he represented a glimmer of hope, a reminder of the strength found in silence, the power in restraint. His duty was not merely to guard, it was to embody a sense of calm in a chaotic world. Before we delve deeper into this extraordinary moment, please take a moment to subscribe to our channel. Your support means everything to us and is the only way to ensure that these inspiring stories reach a wider audience. It helps us continue our work, sharing tales that uplift and resonate. So please subscribe now. On this particular day, however, the guard's tranquility was about to be tested. A figure emerged from the crowd, a man who seemed to radiate agitation. His face twisted in frustration, and as he drew closer, it was evident that he was on a collision course with the calmness the guard personified. The man's voice, laden with bitterness, began to slice through the air, sharp and accusatory. "What are you looking at?" He spat, his words dripping with disdain. "You think you're so important standing there like a statue?" The guard remained silent, his gaze unflinching, the years of training instilling in him the wisdom of forbearance. But the man was relentless, stepping closer, his insults escalating in intensity. The crowd that had gathered began to shift uncomfortably, sensing the tension thickening in the air. There was a palpable tension, a chilling anticipation of conflict. The man's rage seemed to summon shadows of aggression, and many spectators held their breath, unsure of what would unfold. As the aggressor continued to hurl insults, a soft rustling went unnoticed among the crowd. The guard's hand moved ever so slightly, a discreet signal to a pair of security personnel stationed nearby. They understood the unspoken language of the guard, having observed his demeanor and the escalating situation from a distance. Their approach was subtle, but it was clear that this moment had drawn more attention than anyone anticipated. With the security detail closing in, the guard finally broke his silence, his voice calm and steady. "Are you all right, sir?" he asked, the words resonating with an unexpected warmth that contradicted the tension of the moment. This simple question caught the aggressor off guard, halting his tirade mid-sentence. The man's bravado faltered, confusion flickering in his eyes as he processed the guard's unexpected kindness. The crowd, initially bracing for a confrontation, now watched in rapt attention. There was a profound shift in the atmosphere. The air seemed to thicken with anticipation, as if time itself paused to witness the unfolding drama. The guard's composed demeanor contrasted starkly with the man's fraying temper, and in that moment, the audience felt a collective sigh of relief. Here was a man who chose to respond to anger with empathy, an act of courage that could transform the course of the encounter. For a brief moment, the aggressor's tough exterior cracked. His shoulders slumped, and the fire that burned in his eyes flickered and dimmed. "No, I'm not all right," he admitted, his voice barely above a whisper. "I just lost my job, and everything feels like it's falling apart." The admission hung in the air, a heavy truth that reverberated through the crowd. The audience, once filled with apprehension, now exchanged glances of understanding and compassion. As the guard stepped closer, the tension dissipated further. He extended a hand, not as a threat, but as an invitation to rise from the depths of despair. The man hesitated for a moment, caught between the remnants of his anger and the unexpected kindness being offered. But the warmth of that hand, the sincerity in the guard's eyes, proved too compelling to resist. With a deep breath, the man grasped the guard's hand and was pulled to his feet. The crowd watched in awe as the man's demeanor shifted dramatically. The shame that washed over him was palpable, a reflection of the vulnerability he had just revealed. I'm sorry, he stammered, his voice choked with emotion. I didn't mean to lash out like that. The guard nodded, his expression softening. It's all right, sir. We all have our struggles. Just know that it's okay to ask for help. The simplicity of the guard's words struck a chord, resonating deeply with everyone present. The atmosphere transformed from one of confrontation to one of shared humanity. The crowd, witnessing this remarkable display of compassion, slowly began to applaud, their claps echoing through the air like a wave of solidarity. In that moment, the power of kindness became evident. What began as an aggressive confrontation had evolved into a poignant reminder of the strength of empathy. The guard's choice to respond with understanding and grace not only defused a potentially volatile situation, but also inspired those around him to reflect on their own reactions to anger and frustration. As the applause swelled, the guard maintained his calm demeanor, yet a hint of a smile creased his lips. The man he had just helped stood beside him, visibly transformed, no longer an aggressor, but a man humbled by the grace he had received in a moment of desperation. It was a turning point, not just for him, but for everyone who had witnessed this unexpected encounter of vulnerability and compassion. The crowd began to disperse, but the impact of that moment lingered in the air, a testament to the extraordinary power of kindness. The story of the Royal Guard's extraordinary patience and empathy would spread like wildfire, showcasing the profound truths that exist even in the most challenging circumstances. It became a narrative of resilience, one that would resonate far beyond the walls of the Tower of London, a reminder of the grace that can emerge from human connection. The crowd began to disperse, but the impact of that moment lingered in the air, a testament to the extraordinary power of kindness. The story of the Royal Guard's extraordinary patience and empathy would spread like wildfire, showcasing the profound truths that exist even in the most challenging circumstances. It became a narrative of resilience, one that would resonate far beyond the walls of the Tower of London, a reminder of the grace that can emerge from human connection. In the days that followed, the story began to circulate widely on social media platforms. Videos capturing the moment of confrontation and the subsequent resolution were shared and reshared, garnering thousands of views and comments. People from all walks of life expressed their admiration for the guard's unyielding composure and compassion. Memes were created depicting the guard as a symbol of peace in a chaotic world, and hashtags like #KindnessInAction began trending. The man who had confronted the guard, whose name was soon revealed to be David, found himself at the center of this unexpected phenomenon. As he reflected on the events of that day, he realized just how much that moment had changed him. The pain of losing his job had felt insurmountable, an obstacle that darkened his outlook on life. Yet, standing in the midst of the crowd that had once seemed hostile, he discovered a sense of belonging and understanding that he had not anticipated. David began to share his story online, detailing how his aggressive outburst was born from deep-seated frustrations and vulnerabilities. He spoke candidly about the struggles of finding employment in a competitive market and the toll it had taken on his mental health. His vulnerability resonated with many, leading to an outpouring of support from people who had faced similar challenges. Others shared their stories of resilience, creating a community rooted in empathy and understanding. Meanwhile, the Royal Guard, known only by his title and uniform, remained an enigmatic figure. His superiors, having observed the incident and its aftermath, recognized the profound impact of his actions. They encouraged him to share his thoughts on the situation, hoping to amplify the message of compassion that had emerged. Though he was humble and preferred the shadows of his ceremonial duties, he agreed, understanding the importance of the moment he had witnessed. In a public statement, the guard expressed his gratitude for the opportunity to serve not just as a protector of the tower, but also as a custodian of kindness. He emphasized that everyone experiences hardship, And it is in those moments that we must remember the power of compassion. "What I did was not extraordinary," he said, "but a reflection of the humanity we all share." It's easy to react with anger, but it takes strength to respond with kindness. His words struck a chord, reverberating through the community and beyond. Schools began to include discussions about empathy in their curricula, encouraging students to practice kindness in their daily lives. Local organizations started initiatives focused on mental health support, creating safe spaces where individuals could share their struggles without fear of judgment. The ripple effect of that singular moment was profound, transforming a day marked by aggression into one celebrated for its humanity. As David navigated his newfound attention, he felt a sense of responsibility to honor the guard's kindness. He decided to organize a community event, inviting people to share their stories and support one another in their struggles. The event, aptly named Empathy Day, aimed to cultivate a spirit of understanding among participants. David reached out to local charities, mental health organizations, and even the Royal Guards Regiment, hoping to create a day that would encourage healing and connection. The day of the event arrived, and the atmosphere buzzed with anticipation. People gathered in a local park, each carrying their own stories of hardship and resilience. There were booths offering resources for mental health support, spaces for people to share their experiences, and workshops focused on fostering kindness in everyday interactions. David stood at the center, welcoming attendees and sharing his own journey. When the Royal Guard arrived, the crowd erupted in applause. His presence seemed to amplify the event's significance. He moved through the gathering, engaging with attendees, listening intently to their stories, and offering words of encouragement. The guard's humility and grace inspired many, and his willingness to connect with people on a personal level only deepened the impact of the day. As the sun began to set, casting a warm glow over the park, David took to the stage once more. "Today is not just about one moment," he said, his voice steady but filled with emotion. "It's about recognizing that we all have challenges, but we also have the power to change our narratives through compassion. Let's carry this spirit of empathy into our lives and remember that we can make a difference, no matter how small." The crowd erupted in applause, but this time it was different. It was not just admiration for the guard or for David. It was a celebration of the collective strength that had emerged from a day that could have ended in violence. This was a community transformed, bound together by shared experiences and a newfound commitment to kindness. As the participants mingled and shared their thoughts, conversations flowed effortlessly. People exchanged contact information, promising to stay connected and support one another. The atmosphere brimmed with hope and positivity, a stark contrast to the tension that had once defined the interaction between David and the guard. For the Royal Guard, witnessing this transformation was a profound moment of fulfillment. He realized that his role extended beyond that of a protector. He had become a catalyst for change. The connection forged that day would ripple through the community, inspiring others to embrace empathy in their own lives. And so, as the sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows that danced across the park, the stories continued to unfold. The Royal Guard, David, and the many others who had shared their experiences knew that they had embarked on a journey, one that would not only change their lives but also the lives of countless others. The power of kindness had emerged triumphant, proving that in the face of aggression, compassion could indeed silence the noise and inspire profound change. If this story is touching your heart, make sure to comment from where you are hearing this amazing story. Your thoughts and reflections can contribute to the ongoing conversation about kindness and empathy, inspiring others to embrace these values in their own lives. If this story is touching your heart, make sure to comment from where you are hearing this amazing story. Your thoughts and reflections can contribute to the ongoing conversation about kindness and empathy, inspiring others to embrace these values in their own lives. As weeks turned into months, the echoes of that day at the Tower of London reverberated through the community, leaving an indelible mark on its fabric. David found himself increasingly involved in various initiatives aimed at supporting those in need. His experience had ignited a passion for advocacy, and he soon began collaborating with local organizations to address the complexities of unemployment and mental health. Each story he shared amplified the importance of compassion, urging others to look beyond the surface of aggression and understand the struggles that lay beneath. The Royal Guard, too, continued to embody the principles he had championed that fateful day. He became a figurehead for community outreach programs, participating in discussions on mental health awareness and resilience. Schools invited him to speak to students about empathy, where he shared not only his experience, but also encouraged young minds to foster kindness in their daily interactions. His message became a cornerstone in building a more compassionate society, teaching that strength is not solely found in silence or stoicism, but in the ability to connect with others on a human level. Through their respective journeys, both David and the Guard discovered the transformative power of storytelling. They organized workshops where individuals could share their experiences, creating a safe space for vulnerability. Stories of hardship and triumph intertwined, forming a tapestry of resilience that inspired countless others. Each narrative reinforced the idea that everyone carries their own burdens, often unseen, and that through openness and understanding, healing becomes possible. As the seasons changed, so did the community. What had once been a place of uncertainty and fear began to flourish with a spirit of collaboration and support. Local businesses, inspired by the stories of resilience, initiated programs to provide job training and mentorship for those struggling to find work. They recognized that the path to recovery was not merely about employment, but about fostering a sense of belonging and purpose. One day, as David stood outside a venue where a new initiative was being launched, he felt a sense of pride swell within him. The event aimed to connect job seekers with employers willing to consider the whole person, rather than merely their qualifications. As people gathered, David looked around, recognizing many faces. Those who had shared their stories, those who had benefited from the kindness of others, and those who had once felt lost but were now finding their way again. When the Royal Guard arrived, the crowd welcomed him with warmth, their cheers echoing off the walls. As he stepped to the front, he took a moment to absorb the atmosphere, the energy of hope palpable in the air. "Today, we are not just connecting jobs with seekers," he began. "We are building a bridge between our struggles and our strengths, reminding ourselves that we are not alone." His words resonated deeply with those present, a reminder of the collective journey they were all on. The Guard's presence served as a beacon of the resilience that had developed within the community, a living testament to how one moment of kindness could spark a movement. As he spoke, David felt a surge of gratitude for the day they had first crossed paths. In the weeks that followed, stories continued to pour in from individuals who had found hope and healing through the efforts initiated by David and the Guard. Social media buzzed with success stories. People who had landed jobs, found support networks, and regained their sense of purpose. The ripple effect of that single moment of compassion had transformed lives, proving that the simplest act could lead to profound change. As the Guard and David looked towards the future, they understood that their work was far from over. The journey of empathy and kindness was ongoing, a continuous thread woven into the fabric of their lives and the community they cherished. They began planning larger events, aiming to reach even more individuals in need, nurturing a culture where kindness was not just an act but a way of life. With each gathering, each story shared, and each connection made, the community grew stronger. The Royal Guard and David stood as symbols of resilience, reminding everyone that in the face of adversity, compassion is a powerful force capable of silencing chaos and fostering unity. And as they walked together, they knew that the legacy of that day at the Tower of London would endure, inspiring generations to come to choose kindness over aggression, understanding over judgment, and connection over isolation. In the heart of London, where once stood a confrontation between anger and silence, a movement of empathy flourished, illuminating the path forward, a testament to the enduring power of human connection.